All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? It is Friday, December 17th, 2021. This morning, we're going to talk a little bit about time. How much time you got left in 2021? There is 14 days left, exactly 2 weeks to December 31st. That's all we got left in 2021. How are you going to spend those days? That's the question. How are you going to separate yourself from your competition, from your former self? That's what we're going to talk about this morning. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? Good morning to you. Sorry that I'm a little late this morning. I had to unexpectedly come home last night from Charlotte. My wife needed some help. She's still not feeling so good, so I was in Charlotte yesterday for Mike Claudio's event, the Champions Parade, speaking to those folks about culture, and Lori just wasn't feeling too good still. So I came home early last night. I was supposed to be in Texas this morning, leaving Charlotte for Texas this morning to celebrate my dear friend and client Carla Goldammer's 50th anniversary of her company, DJ Site Construction, D&J Site Construction in Elsa, Texas. And so I'm disappointed that I can't be there with them today, but as always, family comes first. And so I got on a plane late last night out of Charlotte and was able to get home. That plane was delayed as usual, just per the normal circumstances of me traveling, it seems these days. And so I got home late. And then this morning, when I tried to plug my computer in, it was completely dead from working on the phone, or working on the plane, rather. And so it took me a couple of minutes to actually get it to start this morning. So that's why I'm running late. It's a long explanation as to why I'm running late, but I'm home here and happy to be here to help my wife out for another day here so she can, she's pretty much on the mend, but needs some help with our 4 children. Are a little challenging when you're not feeling your best. So happy to be home and happy to be here with you guys this morning. So when I pulled up the calendar this morning, I had something else that I was going to talk about, but I thought, man, there's exactly 2 weeks, right, to December 31st of this year. So we've got 2 weeks left in this year, right? And, you know, for a lot of people that I know, 2021 has been a really great year. You know, it's been a year of a lot of progress for me and our companies. It has been an incredible year, like a life-changing, pivotal year that will go down in the books as one that people will remember, right? That year that we kind of, you know, stamped our ticket, if you will, where people really felt good about what we produced, about what we were able to do, how we came together, the adversity that we faced and overcame together. Um, but we're not done yet. We're not done yet. And so that's what I want to say to you guys this morning is, you know, there's still 2 weeks left in this year. And I heard something this morning on Breakfast with Champions on Clubhouse. My buddy Sebastian Rusk said that somebody told him a long time ago to take time off, not days off. And I thought that was really profound, right? When you think about those times when you feel run down, those times when you feel, you know, it's that time of year where, you know, everybody's kind of taking days off. For me, it's never really been that way. And in fact, my wife asked me because I had all of these things planned for today. Obviously, my calendar is pretty open because I was supposed to be somewhere else. And so she said, "Do you have today off?" And I said, "Well, the good news is, babe, I can take any day off if I want to. But I don't do that because I've got, you know, people relying on me and I've got things that I need to do. And people that I need to speak with and help. And I want you guys to think about that. What does it look like this time of year for you? Because, it's very easy this time of year to get into that holiday mode that everybody's in where you don't get a whole lot done. And it's okay to slow down a little bit at times, right? But it's also an opportunity for us to capitalize on the momentum that we've been able to build, right? And so for me, that's what I feel like deep in my soul. I feel because of the work that we've all put in this year, the work that our team has put in this year, that I owe it to them to show up, to maintain the momentum that we have built, and to continue to deliver for our clients, to continue to deliver for our team on a daily basis for however long it takes to achieve what we all know we're capable of, right? We're chasing our potential. We're not chasing a destination. And so for me, these next 2 weeks, I always get a smile on my face. And I was talking about this yesterday to some folks down in Charlotte. I always get a smile on my face knowing that our competitors are taking their foot off the gas. Our competitors aren't going to show up the same way that we are these next 2 weeks. And so you guys have heard me say this before, but I'll say it again. And it's more true because it's a Friday. But this is separation season, folks. This is where truly the best of the best show up in a different way. They show up ready to make progress, ready to dial things in. And it's funny, man, all the people in my life that are the highest achievers, they're still sending me messages. They're still talking to me about what they're doing, what progress they're making, asking questions about what to do to dial in next year. So they're still focused, right? Still moving forward. And so it can't be more important for us to talk about this morning. With 2 weeks left in this year, whatever you have that is a quote unquote New Year's resolution, start it right now. Start it today. Start making a move in that direction. Maybe it's that you're going to work out more. Maybe it's that you're going to eat better. Maybe it's you're going to write in your planner every day. Maybe it's whatever that is for you. I just challenge you to start moving in that direction today, right? Start making decisions that are better today because you've got 14 days left in 2021 to build momentum that will make that start of 2022 easier. And so with 14 days left in this year, I ask all of you, what are you going to accomplish in the next 14 days? It's all easy for us throughout the year, right? To set goals, to know how many things we need to do every day, how many in our world, how many proposals we need to put out, or how many jobs we need to process, how many dollars we need to invoice per week. But what does it look like this time of year? Because when everybody else takes their foot off the gas, if you are the person, if you are the company that continues to maintain momentum, you're going to dominate your competition in 2022, and you're going to separate yourself from that person you used to be in a way that's indescribable. And so with 14 days left, I challenge you guys. It's a Friday. You know what happens on Fridays. Most of the world is going to go out like a mouse, especially on Friday, December 17th. I promise you, it's a week before Christmas. Most of the world today, guys, is not even showing up. And so for those of us who will show up, for those of us who will put in the work, for those of us who will make progress today, those of us who will go out like a lion, when you do that over and over and over again, it's the compound interest of success. And that is what separates you from the competition. It's what separates you from everybody else. And it builds self-confidence. And if I can tell you anything that I've learned and gained over the last handful of years where I've made significant progress in my life, It's that self-confidence that's developed from just showing up that makes all the difference, that truly separates you from the competition. And when I go to places like I was yesterday talking to a group of people, it's probably the most consistent comment that I get of people that are following or people that I haven't met in person yet that I get to meet for the first time. That's the best compliment that I get, is about how consistent I am, about how I show up. I show up to help people. I show up no matter what the circumstances. This morning wasn't perfect, right? But I still do my very best to show up, not just for you guys, but for myself. And so I ask you that, what is going to happen over the next 2 weeks that's going to set up 2022 to be a better year? How are you going to show up? If you're in leadership, how are you going to show up for your people? That sets the tone for how they show up. And if you're a parent, how are you going to show up to demonstrate for your children what success really looks like? Because they're watching you. I shared this yesterday from the stage. I showed a picture of my family to start the conversation that I had with the audience yesterday. And I said that the reason that culture is so important to me, how we treat our people and how we show up inside of our company, inside of my companies. How we show up matters because my children watch that. And so how I treat our people, how I communicate with them, how I demonstrate what success looks like, it's the same way that I do that for my children. And so the way that I show up for the next 14 days, it matters, guys. The way that I show up for the next 14 days demonstrates to my children what success looks like. And the same is true for you. If you don't care, they won't care. If you aren't kind to people, they won't be kind to people. If you don't offer people grace, they won't either. If you take the week before Christmas and the week between Christmas and New Year's off and you don't do any work, that's the standard that your children will rise to. And it's the standard everybody around you will rise to. Think about that. If you're in leadership, you set the tone. Be a thermostat, not a thermometer. Set the temperature. Be the example. Be the example that allows other people to see what's possible. And that, for me, is the responsibility that I feel in life at this point. I never really realized that responsibility fully until I stepped into this role of being more public, of doing this podcast, of having hundreds of contractors attached to my coaching program. Being the example is important, guys. And whether you have just a couple of people in your world that you're an example for, or you have hundreds or thousands, every person matters. Every individual person that you can impact, that you can make a difference in their life, that you can show them what's possible, it changes their life. And by changing their life, it changes every life that they touch. And so if you're a leader within a business, how you show up for the next 2 weeks, for the next 14 days, is going to make a difference. It's going to make a massive difference in other people's lives. It's going to make a massive difference in the confidence and the self-confidence and the self-worth that the men and women that you work alongside show up, how they show up on Christmas for their family. You can impact that. Be the example. Be undeniable and show up for the next 14 days the way that you should. The way that at the end of the day, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you can be proud of. That, folks, is perspective. When you look back at your life and you know that you've made progress, that you're better at the end of 2021 than you were at the end of 2020, the confidence that that develops, the self-worth that that develops is massive. And eventually, you start to see people around you start to believe in themselves too. Because as they see you believe in yourself during the ups and downs of life, all the difficult times, when you are that steady hand, that steady person that people can depend on, they become the same. So I ask you one more time, how are you going to show up for the next 14 days? Are you going to go out in 2021 like a lion? Or are you going to go out like a mouse? Are you going to take the next 2 weeks off because you deserve it? Or are you going to take time off that you deserve, but not days off? I hope this has provided you with some perspective this morning. I hope it gave you a little shot in the arm. It certainly did for me. You know, many of the topics that I talk about in the morning, they are certainly to help you guys, but most of the time they also help me. And it helps me refocus. It helps me realize, you know, what it takes for me to get to the next level, what it takes for me to show up as my best today. And it's not always easy, you know. I was on a plane last night, getting up with the kids this morning. They're all crazy because I came home unexpected. But it's important to show up, even when it's not perfect. This morning we got a late start, but we're here, right? Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some time, but don't give yourself days off. Show up for people, man. Be the example and finish 2021 like a lion, not like a mouse. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. I will see you again on Monday morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.